Hey everybody, Doomwake here, and welcome to another Pioneer video on the channel, and we are going to be exploring kind of an old favorite archetype of mine, involving a mechanic that has surely done nothing wrong in the past, which is Delve, and the card in question is the card on your screen, and that is Soulflayer. Soulflayer is an extremely powerful card. It is, as you can see, 6 mana 4/4, it has Delve, and then basically the creatures that you exile with Soulflayer transfer their abilities to the Soulflayer. And what's really cool about that is you get to play all of these very sort of underutilized creatures that have a whole stack of keywords that under normal circumstances aren't that great because most of them are extremely expensive or very situational. But in terms of Soulflayer, you really just have to put them in the graveyard, which is not that difficult. The creatures over on the right-hand column, this is kind of like, a bunch of abilities. So we have a couple of new cards here with Gold Vein Hydra, which the three keywords here are Vigilance, Trample, and Haste, all of which are pretty relatively decent, like giving your Soulflayer haste. Vigilance is going to be important because you want to be able to play offense and defense. And another really funny thing about Gold Vein Hydra, so there's two aspects to this card. One is if you have it in your hand and you want to just get it into your graveyard for a Soulflayer that turn, like say you have 3 mana, you can actually play the Gold Vein Hydra for 0, X equals 0, just 1 mana, put it into the graveyard because it dies when it comes into play, and then you have the 2 mana left over, and then you can exile it to the Soulflayer. The other cool thing about Gold Vein Hydra is later in the game you can play it, even on turn 3, you just play it for 2, you can either block with it, like chump block to make 2 treasures, or maybe they kill it. Maybe if you make it a 4/4 or a 5/5, they kind of have to kill it or they're going to die to it. And what's actually cool about that is it kind of gets us into our next card, which is Zetalpa Primal Dawn. So 8 mana 4/8, bunch of keywords here: Flying, Double Strike, Vigilance, Trample, and Indestructible. All of those transfer to Soulflayer. But what's really cool is, under normal circumstances before, when you were playing this in your Soulflayer deck, you could never really cast this. But because we have Gold Vein Hydra, if your opponent kills the Hydra, or if you block with the Hydra and it dies, you then just get treasures to hard cast Zetalpa, which can and probably will come up. More on that in the video, but it's very, very cool that you kind of have that avenue or that angle of attack now that you can realistically just hardcast this card. On top of the fact that, 5 amazing abilities for Soulflayer, phenomenal card. Striped Riverwinder is, there's only one ability here, Hexproof, but what's very important is, 1, Hexproof is obviously, Hexproof is amazing. They can't kill your Soulflayer. If you give it Hexproof, they can't terminate it, they can't, Assassin's Trophy, Leyline Binding, whatever removal spell they might have. And what's really cool about Riverwinder is you can just get it into the graveyard yourself. For a single blue mana, discard it, cycle it, move on. And then the last one here is Samut, which is Double Strike, Vigilance, and Haste. I think the most important keyword on this one is Double Strike. We kind of already have Vigilance, Haste in the form of Gold Vein Hydra, but Double Strike is pretty important because you also get Trample off of Zetalpa, so you get to these spots where you just have, 4/4, Double Strike, Vigilance, Trample, and it's basically impossible to block and also impossible to race, especially once you factor in another card that I put over to the left, but it actually does have some good keywords, and that's Deep-Cavern Bat. So what's really phenomenal about this card is it is a 2-drop that you can play. You can, clear the way, see if they have a counter spell or some sort of removal spell for Soulflayer. You can take that with the Deep-Cavern Bat, and then, follow that up with a Soulflayer. But if you just mill over the Deep-Cavern Bat or have it in your hand and discard it, or they kill it, it has Flying and Lifelink, both of which are very good abilities once you kind of factor in the rest of the stuff that we have. Double Strike here, Indestructible Double Strike here, Vigilance here, Tramp, you get the idea. So Flying and Lifelink, very important, and the body, it's like just the card itself, Deep-Cavern Bat, very good card. Other than Soulflayer, we do kind of have, I guess you could call this Soulflayer at home, which is Urborg Scavengers. It's a 3 mana 2/2. It has a similar effect where when it ETBs or attacks, you exile a card from a graveyard, you get a counter on it, and then it gains the abilities of the cards that are exiled with it. It's similar to Soulflayer, not as explosive, but you're only guaranteed to get 1 card at a time. But you can fudge the numbers a little bit on that, because you can say ETB, target something with haste, go to combat, attack, target something else with another relevant ability. It's not as good, but it's still pretty good, and you want some redundancy on Soulflayer. And then past that, the rest of the deck is just a lot of ways to put cards in the graveyard. So you have Collective Brutality, which is, again, another way to clear the way, but also a good way to get cards out of your hand that you wouldn't otherwise be able to, like the Samuts and the Zetalpas. We have Otherworldly Gaze. I'm not a huge fan of this card, but when you're playing a dedicated combo deck like this, it is very important. It's card disadvantage, but who really cares when you're making a 4/4 with 10 abilities? And then the last card here is Grisly Salvage. This is, probably one of the best cards in the deck because it looks at 5 cards, it mills 4 of them, and it finds you your Soulflayer or your Urborg Scavengers. Past the Graveyard Enablers, we have some interaction here with 4 copies of Thoughtseize. You could maybe play Fatal Push, you could maybe play Stubborn Denial, Spell Pierce, but I think Thoughtseize is the most versatile piece of interaction, and arguably probably the best one. And then last but certainly not least, we have a copy of Smuggler's Surprise. It's a new card. I'm not entirely sure if this should be in the deck or not, but it's got some utility. So for 3 mana, you can do sort of like a Grisly Salvage impression, where you mill 4 cards and you get up to 2 creatures and or lands. So it's like the 5th Grisly Salvage, sort of, in that regard. But also, you can, I guess, get to 6 mana and just put, like, a Zetalpa and a Striped Riverwinder in play. I don't know how often that's going to happen, but, you have that available to you, and I'm sure it's pretty cool when it does happen. Mana base is pretty straightforward. I will say that, I know, Mana Confluence, a very expensive card. A lot of people are probably going to be wondering, hey, Doom, can I play this without Mana Confluence? You can, but I would not recommend it. The mana base is a little sketchy, like you're trying to cast blue on 1, black-green on 2, double black here, blue cycling here, so you kind of need the Mana Confluences, and it's unfortunate because that card is very, very expensive. But yeah, rest of the lands, the one Urborg is kind of cool because it does let you, Thoughtseize plus Soulflayer, even if you have blue-green lands, so keep that in mind. As far as the sideboard is concerned, we have 1 Cavern of Souls. That's kind of really all you have room for. It is very important against the control decks, but again, as we talked about, the mana's sketchy enough that I don't think you have room for a second one. You have Damping Sphere against Lotus Field, Ashiok against Phoenix and the Brink to Light decks, Pick Your Poison against Vampires, Fatal Push against the aggressive decks, Stubborn Denial against Control, and then Test of Talents, which is sort of multi-purpose, good against Bring to Light, good against Lotus Field. Those are kind of the 2 decks that come to mind, but I'm sure there's some other fringe decks that it's good against as well. But that is pretty much it for the intro to Soulflayer. What I wanted to just quickly mention here is this particular league is going to be maybe a bit different than what you're probably used to. We're trying something new on the channel here, where I played a league with this deck. Some of the matches didn't go super well, but there was one match in particular that I wanted to highlight that had a really good showcase of the deck. So what we're going to try to do moving forward, and I don't know if we're going to make this a regular, a series or something, but whenever I have those leagues where it's one good match and then, 3 or 4 bad ones, I'm just going to upload the one good match. Let me know in the comments if you guys hate that sort of thing, if you're interested in it. It's going to be a lot of shorter videos, so it's going to be maybe easier to consume. But yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts because, again, I'm just trying a bunch of new stuff on the channel, trying to see what works and see what doesn't work, and it's all about you guys. The feedback is extremely important, so be sure to let me know. And I will see you back here in just a little bit for the games. But we can cycle these Riverwinders. If we can find a Brutality, get this. In the graveyard, it's not bad. Darkslick Shores. You see what I was saying about the mana base, too? It's kind of awkward, given that we don't actually have a second black source here. Citadel on black. Problem is, I believe their deck has a lot of edicts. So I will bleed on Bat. You see my issue, huh? You see my problem. You know what? I don't care if you have 2/2s. I don't care about 2/2s. Realistically, if I get to do my thing, I don't care if they have 5 or 6 2/2s. Just doesn't matter. Maybe the problem is it gives them a little bit too much pressure. Oh, that's bad. This matchup seems like actual 0%, right? The Liliana, Shieldred's Edict. How do we ever beat this deck? Idea. I guess we find a Haster, and then if we find a Haster, if they play the Liliana, we can kill the Liliana the turn they play it, but definitely want to cast the Salvage here. Take Mana Confluence. Okay, well, we put the Hydra in the graveyard. That's step 1, right? Should have cast Gaze. Oh, I guess I could have cast both, right? Yeah, use blue to cast the Gaze, then get the Swamp to play the thing. That works too, I guess. Let's take a peek. So what can we make? Hexproof, Flying, Lifelink, Vigilance, Trample, Haste. Is that good enough? Oh, wait. No, I can't do it this turn. Right. I only have 2 black. Okay, well, we wait till next turn then. We can, like, Riverwinder and Otherworldly this turn. Have we gotten Careful Study and Modern Bit with MH3? No, but we have Cephalid Colosseum, which is close-ish. It's probably the closest we're ever going to get to Careful Study. Alright, Otherworldly Gaze. Doesn't really change my position. I guess I keep the Scavengers. Hold on, what if I just kept... too late. I was going to say, what if I kept the Soulflayer too? That's fine. Okay, so let's think about this. ETBs are attacks, exile a card from a graveyard, put a counter on it. Problem is we only have 1 haster, right? So I could use the haster on the Scavengers, but then I can't haste the Soulflayer. And I'm pretty sure hasting the Soulflayer is more important. Okay, so we go Vigilance, Trample, Haste, Hexproof, Flying, Lifelink, and then I think we can go Scavenger, Eat the Riverwinder. So it's probably better to do it on the Scavengers, because this can only be a 4/4 anyways. So maybe it is better to do this. So we go, well, no, that's awkward, right? Because if I go Scavenger, Eat this, Haste, Attack, Eat the Riverwinder to give it Hexproof so they can't kill it, I don't have Lifelink. So it might just be more important to get the Lifelink up front, right? This, Vigilance, Trample, Haste, Flying, Lifelink, Hexproof. Yeah, I think it's better to do it this way. And then we just go Scavenger, Exile the Riverwinder, I think. That's what I was thinking. So now they can't kill the Riverwinder, then we can cast the Otherworldly Gaze and Upkeep to try and mill over a Zetalpa, or find like a Collective Brutality. I think this is the best way. Why are people weird? I don't understand. Apparently that was the sickest slow roll. Okay, dude. Okay. I'm gonna type word. Yeah, apparently thinking equals slow roll. Didn't know that. Oh, I should have tanked on the Zetalpa. Wait, no, it doesn't matter. I got rid of the Scavengers. What am I saying? I need other Scavengers now. I don't know if you know that, BLJ, but you can just not type words. The sick part is I'm still gonna lose this game. My hero. So I need to find a second Soulflayer, right? I also kind of need a Haster is the issue. So I guess we graveyard all 3 and then upkeep do this. Because I'm pretty sure the only way I can win is if I find Scavengers or Soulflayer at this point. Soulflayer spotted. Now the question is, do I upkeep it? I don't know. I need haste on this one, right? So I think we have to upkeep it. Didn't find haste. Unfortunate. I guess I could have kept Brutality. Do I tank on this? No, I won't, because they're gonna scream if I tank on this one. I guess the last card doesn't matter. We've exhausted all of the relevant keywords in our graveyard, so we can just do it like this. Now, we're not dead, because this one has Indestructible, and we can block with it, so we do go to 5. We end up going back to 1, because we go 3, then go to 1 on draw step. So, yeah, we can still block. Well, I guess they just don't attack, right? Because they just don't attack with the Shield Rid. But I guess if they're not attacking and not killing us, we're getting 12 next turn, and then we probably can't die. Should have played the land. I wanted to hold the land to discard the Gaia Reach. No? Isn't that better? Like, I don't care about them having mana. I'd rather have them have mana than have another card. I think. Well, actually, no, I couldn't cast that. Because if I cast that, I die. Should probably upkeep this. Yeah, too late. Whatever, I don't think it matters at this point. Does this have Vigilance? It does have Vigilance. Vigilance noted. Yeah, I'm going to hold the land again, too, to discard to Gaia Reach. Apparently that was the sickest slow roll. I didn't know that. I thought it was pretty good. Maybe I should slow roll the next game. Like actually just commit to the bid now, you know? I'm all in at this point. I got nothing left to lose. Casting it now is bad if they have... Oh no, because I can't... Well... Whatever, I don't care. Just graveyard these shitters. Price too bad. I'd like to see our opponent's research notes on 6... Yeah, what exactly do you define as a 6 slow roll? My face when my deck with 4 Liliana, 4 Shieldred's Edict loses to the Soulflayer deck, you know? Can you send the green-black crime somebody had in here earlier? No, it was definitely not that deck. Confirmed, not that deck. I found it. I got it. I got the link. Right there. Doomwake wins. Okay, what would we like to board against? Mono black Wate Not. How much do we actually care about the card Wate Not? We kind of do, right? Because we cycle these. Bring in these, maybe? Try this. Uh-oh. I mean, sure, I guess. Actually, I'm going to put back this. You tried Karavik and can handle life loss. Try Vadmir. I think Vadmir might cook in that deck. Although Vadmir makes you... I guess I wouldn't necessarily say that Vadmir makes you weaker to Fatal Push, because it kind of baits the Fatal Push out of them before you play your Lookout, so... In a weird way, it, like, makes their Fatal Pushes... You know what I mean? It taxes them a little bit more. The rain will shower you. I mean, they know about the stub. I'm not going to not do this. It's not terrible. This Ashiok out of here. How mad would they have been if I, like, tanked for a minute before casting the bat? They'd have been pretty upset, I think. Field of Ruin. This deck should probably play an island, shouldn't it? Man. I know, right? Hydra me. And then tanked on take Ashiok. I should have, yeah. I guess. I mean, in general, you just want to play your cards out against them. Because they have so many discard spells. I will double block. Will certainly double block here, if you allow it. I doubt they're attacking, though. I guess I hold that one. It's weird. Like, how likely, even if I hit Soulflayer off of this, how likely is it to matter? Because they're just going to make me discard it, right? But I don't know. I guess I'll hold it. Because if they cast Go Blink, I might want to... Well, it doesn't matter at that point. I just wouldn't even cast it. Oh, yeah, that's true. If we lose both of these, we can cast a Talpa. That's kind of nice. So I guess we do it now to try to hit a land. Alright. Take it. We also binned a lot of relevant creature types, or keywords, rather. That is kind of unfortunate. I'm definitely slow rolling it if I draw it now. Okay. Well. That is definitely a spot I would slow roll it in. Yeah, that does kind of suck. The fact that it exiles is pretty rough. Okay. If they're smart, they hit the Samut here, I think. Well, actually, that's not true. Because the Soulflayer wouldn't even kill them there. You have technically one more draw step. Right? I guess I shouldn't have 6. Yeah, well, we don't really have outs, though, because they just eat the Samut now. So we don't really have outs. Order, order, order. Imagine playing your spells in the wrong order. Couldn't be me. I don't know what we can draw, but We're gonna find out. Certainly not that. All right, game 3. So here's the most important part about this game. We actually have to slow roll them. It is a requirement. All right. Oh, this hand doesn't have blue mana. Probably can't keep it. Can cycle Riverwinder. I think we just YOLO this, put back Deep-Cavern Bat. I'm gonna Thoughtseize first. Okay, well. Kind of wish I had that bat back. Yeah, we have to slow roll them this game. Okay, or we could draw Samut. It's kind of the same thing. This deck has some really nice sample hands. You're right. Do I want the bat to force the edict? I think I do. Actually, that was bad, right? Because I can just Thoughtseize the edict. I guess keeping the bat is good if they have 2 interactive cards. So now we just take the edict and then bat the Shelly. I think. Perfect. I wanted that one in the graveyard anyways. Thanks. Thanks, opponent. It's nice of them to do that for me, you know? Yeah. It's a good one. How do I do this? Another hand is Shelly Urborg X. I think I'm supposed to Thoughtseize the Shelly rather than bat. I know that sounds kind of weird. Maybe I'm supposed to salvage first and try to hit a land. But my thinking is that I really need this to hit a Soulflayer. Maybe that's just bad logic, though. So, like, here, I'm just going to hold up the salvage. I'm not going to cast it, because I want to be able to hit Soulflayer. I guess that's bad if I top deck a Thoughtseize. I already had haste. I could have put this in the graveyard. Maybe that was better. I'd prefer to not get a forest off of this, because if I... Why are you spamming this, Grok? Can we not spam Discord links, please? Yeah, just, like, ask me first next time. I don't mind you posting them, just ask me next time. There's the Soulflayer. God, give me a land, please. A land that makes black mana. It's annoying. So they hit the Zetalpa, but we have 2 Samuts, 2 Riverwinders, which is good. Maybe they hit both Samuts. They've hit Zetalpa and Bat. I mean, we just have to YOLO, right? It's not going to get any better, I don't think. To make sure I'm hitting the right things. Okay, so Double Strike, Vigilance, Haste, Hexproof, Trample. Let me just keep the rest in the graveyard. I mean, I guess I could, like, Thoughtseize them first, but if I Thoughtseize them first, they're going to eat 2 more creatures, right? What do they eat if I Thoughtseize first? They probably eat both Riverwinders, which is not ideal. They've already gone through 2 Edicts, but they have Liliana's too. Oh, you meant to slow roll them? Well, it's not a slow roll because they know about the Soulflayer. Like, I'm... you know what I mean? They can't get mad at me because they literally know it's in my hand. You can't get mad at me this time. In before, that was the sickest slow roll, lol. It's a good sign, I guess. I just think I can't play around much. Oh, are they going to slow roll the Edict too? Go blank. I mean, I guess we keep the bat, right? Okay, Edict they don't have. Edict covered up the top of the... Oh, they're going to upkeep the Edict. I think they have it, but they're slow rolling me. But, oh, they don't have it. Okay, that's good. Well, the nice thing about this is we now have Edict covered off the top. That's good. So they have to draw Extinction Event, I think. I'll keep the Salvage. I know I can't cast it right now, but I can maybe cast it. Gold Vein Hydra. You'll love to see it. This is the classic concession lag. All right, chat, I've been live for 7 hours. I think I am going to call it a stream there. Very, very much longer stream. So I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Thank you very, very much for being a part of today's stream. I hope you had a wonderful time. Thanks again for the bits, the donos, the subs, the follows, everything. I cannot do any of this without all of your support. So thank you very, very much. Appreciate you all being here. Have a wonderful evening.